That I think in my view is a correct analogy.
So in 2019, we actually automated the trading system together with the central bank. And what that did was to reduce the time period within which people were buying and selling bonds from a massive 12 days to about 3 days.
The Dow CSD is a systemically important central securities depository infrastructure that delivers world-class levels of registry, custodial and settlement services for both primary and secondary market operations.
When the system went live on the 31st of July this year, we've seen a lot of activity, especially from our clients as commercial banks, trying to open accounts because before account opening was very laborious, it was very manual. Now clients can do that on their own. It has eased the process of account opening and also settlement. We've seen clients being able to even being involved in the settlement process, which also enhances transparency.
What the Dow CSD has done is provided a very easy access to the platform. The onboarding process is very seamless. It can be done remotely on your mobile phone, on your computer. It also gives you visibility on portfolio investments. It gives you visibility on oncoming or forthcoming opportunities in bond trading, as well as what's going on in the secondary market.
When we think of technology, we should get away from itself and understanding the human being and the effect of it. And the Dow CSD is first and foremost an empowerment tool. It will allow financial support at a very critical level, and having a seamless system that guarantees my return is just the perfect vehicle we want to start off with.
So for us, and from where we sit, we think it's empowering the investor directly, because an investor can be able to open an account under 10 minutes. That's completely phenomenal. Number two, worldwide, investors don't interact directly with the central bank. So we are pulling a fast in Africa, if not the world, whereby a retail investor like David, under 10 minutes they have an account with the central bank. So we, from where we sit, believe that it's going to be impactful. One, in terms of financial inclusion and promoting the savings culture.
This is going basically to enhance and deepen the financial market of Kenya. It's going to enhance transparency and also a lot of participation from the investing public, and also isn't the process of investors trying to access the domestic debt market.
The innovation of the Dow CSD is a game changer in that respect, because it does allow you easy access to the bond market in Kenya. And as we know, the diaspora communities are very challenged because they are looking for ways of engaging and participating in economic activity back home. I couldn't think of a better way of them participating than in investing in the bond activity going on in Kenya, and particularly through the Dow CSD.
I live in Doha, in the state of Qatar. I would want to applaud the central bank for the new system, because previously we used to invest, accessing the portal was via SMS. And so for someone in the diaspora like me, it meant I had to get network, a local network, in this case Safaricom, and go through the SMS system to access my account. And that wasn't so comfortable. You can imagine when you don't have access to the Safaricom system, network and so on. But now Central Bank has come with a new system, the Dow system, that it's so user-friendly. It's a portal that we log in, and my experience has been fantastic. The system gives me what I like the most, and that is visibility of my account. The visibility at a glance, it's so reassuring. Interacting with it, you are able to really see what is upcoming, your securities at a glance. You can tell what your portfolio is at a glance, and that is good. So the new system has been really a game changer, and I'm sure it will be a reason that most Kenyans, especially diasporans, will opt to invest by central bank.
When I learned about DAO CSD, I decided to onboard, and the whole process, start to finish, took me less than half an hour. It was seamless. It was incredible. I mean, this innovation is second to none. And I commend really the developers who came up with such a seamless platform.
The DAO CSD is transforming Kenya's financial markets through improved monetary policy operations and enhanced operational efficiency in the domestic debt market.
The DAO CSD has impacted on the secondary market, and secondary market involves the secondary trading, and that is the trading of securities after issue but before maturity. And basically there are three main transactions. That's the outright sale, then there is the pledge, and then there is the transfer without the cash.
For the central bank, it will change how monetary operations are conducted. For the National Treasury and Economic Planning, it will transform the way their securities are issued, stored, and traded. And for the banking sector, it will expand existing custodial services and create new opportunities to operate in the financial markets through a world-class infrastructure platform.
Previously, some banks could not access cash as easily due to system inefficiencies. With the DAO CSD, however, we anticipate liquidity distribution to improve because, among other things, there is full transfer of collateral for repo transactions. This will enhance the functioning of the interbank market and boost confidence among the participants.
In terms of horizontal repo, which is a product that had been on ice in the financial market space for quite some time, we've seen it being rolled out. Now banks can participate in horizontal repos because what the DAO CSD has enabled is a transferability of collateral, which will further enhance liquidity and also reduce the systemic risk that was hitherto not possible in the previous financial markets regime.
One of the things that we have seen, because we benchmark with some of these economies in India, they significantly save in excess of 60% of their earnings. So you know where we are. So if we grow that by around 10%, and I think this system is coming to bridge that, then I think this economy will be grown by Kenyans brick by brick.
And since Kenya is an innovative country, we wanted also to be the first one in the world to give such a system.
I'm proud to be part of the team that has delivered the DAO CSD system, which is going to transform Kenya's financial markets.
All said and done, we are very happy to be where we are because it's been around 2 years, and I must say that the end justifies the means.
I'm very proud to have been part of this project.
Welcome to the DAO CSD.
The beauty of technology. At this point, Your Excellency, allow me to now call the CBK Governor, Dr. Kamau Thuge, to come and make his remarks, and in turn, invite the CS National Treasury and Economic Planning. Karibu sana.
His Excellency, Honorable Dr. William Samoei Ruto, the President of the Republic of Kenya, Professor Juguna Dongo, the Cabinet Secretary, National Treasury and Economic Planning, CS Moses Kuria, Industry, Trade and Investment, other Cabinet Secretaries present, Honorable Kuria Kimani, Chair of the Finance Committee, and other members of Parliament, and the Chair of the Council of Economic Affairs, David D. Principal Secretaries present, members of the CBK Board and the Monetary Policy Committee, Chief Executive Officers of commercial banks, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great honor for me to welcome you all to the Central Bank of Kenya, We're also very grateful to His Excellency for finding time to join us on this momentous occasion, which is a culmination of a long journey spanning more than 6 years the CBK has gone through in developing the new, agile, and transformative financial market infrastructure called the Dow CSD. The CBK continues to work closely with the stakeholders to implement strategic reforms that will enhance efficiency and effectiveness in the attainment of its mandates and in pursuit of its vision to be a world-class modern central bank. Your Excellency, as you are aware, the CBK is mandated to formulate, implement monetary policy directed to achieving and maintaining price stability. We are also mandated to foster liquidity, solvency, and proper functioning of an efficient, sound, and stable market-based financial system. On this front, I'm happy to note that despite the negative global developments that have transmitted into the local economy, inflation has now firmly returned to our target range of 5% plus or 2.5%. And this is due to the strong measures that have been taken by the monetary policy of the CBK and the supportive measures by the government to improve food supply across the country, including the provision of subsidized fertilizer. Inflation has declined from a peak of 9.6% in October of 2022 to 6.7% in August 2023, and we expect it to continue moderating in the next few months. This has been mainly due to food inflation from around 16% in September, October of last year to 7.5% in August of this year. Your Excellency, it will be remiss on my part if I did not mention which is usually referred to as inflation targeting. The framework introduces an interest rate corridor set at plus or minus 2.5 percentage points on either side of the CBR. Monetary policy operations to inject or withdraw liquidity are then targeted at ensuring that the interbank rate tracks very closely the CBR rate. And therefore, unlike the situation pertaining before, there is now a direct relationship between the CBK policy rate, the CBR, and commercial banks' interest rates, thereby making the transmission of monetary policy to the economy much more effective. To enhance further the effectiveness of this monetary policy framework, we have also re-energized the overnight discount window at the CBK, which the banks were not using before, by removing bureaucratic procedures and lowering the interest rate charged to banks that access this window by 200 basis points. This window will be available to banks to access liquidity to meet their cash ratio requirements in the event they are unable to obtain liquidity in the interbank market. Ladies and gentlemen, the long journey to the rollout of the Dow CSD has been made possible through a partnership of the CBK, the National Treasury, commercial banks, investment banks, the CMA, the Nairobi Stock Exchange, and the Kenya Revenue Authority, and other stakeholders, including the World Bank and the National Bank of Georgia. In 2016, the National Treasury and the CBK, with the support of the World Bank, initiated the acquisition of a new CSD that would enhance efficiency in government securities operations and introduce automation to foster growth and stability of the financial market. This is aligned with the CBK's strategic focus area of automation and commitment to promoting growth, efficiency, and stability of the financial sector. The Dow CSD that the President is going to launch today went live on July 31st, 2023. It is a versatile financial market infrastructure that will enhance operational efficiency in the domestic debt market and also improve monetary policy transmission and implementation. Players in the Kenya interbank market have already started benefiting from the system, as it has enhanced liquidity distribution, and it has also enabled the CBK to support commercial banks with liquidity when necessary at much lower discount rates in the CBK overnight window. The Dow CSD is therefore expected to promote a well-functioning interbank market, capital market growth, market deepening, expansion of the digital access for broader financial inclusion, and position Kenya as the preferred financial hub in the region. In addition to helping manage systemic risk, the system has improved and automated operations by eliminating paper-based processes. We are delighted to have His Excellency the President launch the Dow CSD at this moment, as it will enable the CBK to more effectively fulfill its dual mandate of ensuring price and financial system stability. With improved monetary policy transmission, our inflation targeting monetary policy framework will be more accurate and the policy actions will be more effective. To conclude, ladies and gentlemen, I wish to sincerely thank Your Excellency for taking time from your busy schedule to grace this auspicious occasion. I hope, Your Excellency, that very shortly we will be able to again interrupt your busy schedule to come and launch the Emakiba, a product that I know you're very passionate about. Let me also thank all those stakeholders that have been involved in the long and difficult journey of developing the Dow CSD. We are very grateful to the World Bank and the National Bank of Georgia for their invaluable support, and to the National Treasury and all the market participants for their significant contributions to this project. With these few remarks, ladies and gentlemen, I now invite the Cabinet Secretary, the National Treasury and Economic Planning, Professor Juguna Dungu, to make his remarks, and thereafter invite the President to make his remarks and to launch the Dow CSD. Welcome, CS.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, Cabinet Secretaries that are with me. I have Moses Kuria with me. I'm very happy that, Governor, you have invited me back to the Central Bank. And Deputy Governor, I promise my colleagues that we don't retire, we change clients. I didn't know I would change clients to this extent. Thank you very much, Deputy Governor, the Governor, my Chairman of the Finance and Planning Committee, my PS, Dr. Chris Kipto was working with me here, and PS Diaspora Affairs. I'm happy also to see Chairman KRA, the Deputy Governor, Nairobi County, and the latest entry into our team, Humphrey Watanga, the Commissioner General of the KRA. Distinguished guests, I'm very happy to be here. Sorry, I'm fighting this. It is much longer than it is supposed to be. It's my pleasure to be here this morning and to join His Excellency, the President, at this very, very important occasion on the launch of the Dow Central Securities Depository, Depository, the Dow CSD. And as a former central banker, I'm happy to be back home, but more importantly, to increase the diversity of the products that are going to enrich our market. the central banks in all emerging and frontier markets like Kenya are currently faced with significant headwinds arising from monetary policy tightening, especially in advanced economies, and more so the challenges that are posed by the supply-side shocks that have hit the economy for so many years now, accounting for years, especially starting with the drought last year and also the subsequent supply shocks. These supply-side shocks marked a very difficult season for central banks, given their mandate is to ensure price stability, but pressures from the supply side do require more than bringing the supplies back into the market, whereas the central bank use the demand side tools. But I'm happy to note that given the interventions the central bank and the government have implemented, the Kenya sharing, the exchange rate is now stabilizing. And the Monetary Policy Committee has also taken measures to address inflation. This, together with measures implemented by the government to support increased agricultural output, have resulted into a decline in inflation to 6.7% from a high of 9.6%, as the governor mentioned. And we do expect this to be a declining trend on inflation, especially as we continue to see food supply coming back into the market, and even productivity and production increases in our farms, in our smallholder farms, and even larger farms. The global developments have drastically worsened the external financing conditions, and this has limited Kenya's access to external borrowing and even affected the domestic debt market liquidity. For this reason, the domestic borrowing targets, for example, for the financial year 2022-2023, was met with a lot of difficulties. But it's also a lesson for us so that we can come up with innovative solutions that can address the situations or even conditions as they arise. Consequently, for me, the rollout, and for the government, the rollout of the Dow CSD by the Central Bank of Kenya is a great milestone, as it will not only enhance the operational efficiency of the government domestic debt program, but also support the deepening of the domestic capital market. The launch of this system marks a major step in the government's efforts to promote local savings and investment. Allow me, Your Excellency, to once again congratulate the Central Bank for delivering a state-of-the-art system that conforms to the international best standards, but also in addition allows us to join some of the line products that have been produced at a very, very micro level, and we do believe that a combination of these mid-row and also micro level products is going to be quite productive for us and quite satisfying for us. Allow me also to recognize the role played by the World Bank, the National Bank of Georgia, and the market stakeholders in Kenya, commercial banks, investment banks, CMA, Nairobi Securities Exchange, KRA, and even IRA. Their input in the project has been invaluable. I also wish to acknowledge my colleagues from the National Treasury for their role in this important milestone. They are the most people who complain when domestic borrowing, or that is the market of public debt, does not work well because it affects them directly. So we have a stake here, and that stake is very, very important so that we take up any responsibility in future to make sure that we improve on this diversity of products that are flexible to the borrower, but they are also flexible in terms of providing the resources that we require. So this is your day, Your Excellency, to launch this product. So for me, it gives me a lot of pleasure and even singular honor to actually invite you to come and preside over this event, Your Excellency. Your Excellency.
Thank you very much. Let's take our seats. CS National Treasury, CS Trade, my good friend, the governor of the Central Bank, I was asking him outside here who the governor of Central Bank is. And because he used to work for me on the other side until I lost him. Deputy Governor, distinguished friends, good afternoon. Occasions like this are very critical, not just because of the specific event we are here for, but also for the opportunity it affords us to remind one another of what we have set out to do and why we take the trouble to do it. And that is to review progress, achievements, and to reinforce our commitment to the journey of national transformation for the socio-economic advancement of all the people of our country. One of the fundamental commitments we made to the people of Kenya is to enlist every Kenyan in the task of nation building by opening up opportunities for citizens in their millions across the country to pursue engagements that enrich their lives and bring them closer to their aspirations by two primary means. The first one is to remove all the structural barriers to the contribution of the majority of our people and eliminate systemic obstacles to their participation at any level in all sectors. This is out of the realization that Kenyans are not only capable of meeting their needs and creating wealth through hard work, but they also aspire to contribute to the baking of a national cake large enough to feed all of us instead of just waiting for morsels distributed through sometimes adversarial, competitive, and untimely, and sometimes acrimonious political mechanisms, as we all know. The second is to facilitate millions of Kenyans to participate and make their contribution through innovative and transformative policies, programs, and projects that facilitate access to opportunity and to the means of turning these opportunities into incomes as a path to improve well-being and create wealth through savings and investments. And as I said yesterday, when I was somewhere in Meru, that the responsibility of nation building is first and foremost the collective responsibility of all of us as Kenyans. Each and every one of us, we need to ask ourselves the job of building Kenya. What is my contribution? Whatever it is, however small, however big, how am I making a contribution towards the nation that I belong to? Citizen of Kenya. And as we take the realization that it is our responsibility, first and foremost, and it is us who are going to build the country. And because it is us who are going to build the country, it is our effort, our energy, our sweat, our assets, our wealth that is going to build this country. And it is the reason why I have undertaken that this great effort by every Kenyan, their energy, their expertise, their resources, their contribution in whatever manner must be protected from the people who want to abuse it. That commitment to the people of Kenya, to make sure that their resources are looked after and they are not lost through wastage or theft or corruption or any manner of loss of public resources. Through the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, we have established various mechanisms to implement the commitments I have said. They include the implementation of large-scale employment creation programs in various sectors, including agriculture, housing, and the MSME ecosystem, or hustler economy, the digitization and automation of government services, promotion of the participation of youth and women, creation of financial mechanisms to enhance inclusion, and the provision of infrastructure that promotes access to digital technologies. At the foundation of these interventions is the principle that our economic system must be refined through transformation into an environment of opportunities and a tide that lifts all boats regardless of size, speed, shape, purpose, or build. In this context, this event is very significant. We are here to launch a very special boat set to sail into an operating environment transforming under the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. It is appropriate that the boat we launch on this occasion represents the intersection of fundamental components of our transformative agenda. First of all, the Central Securities Depository, CSD as it's called, has been automated and digitized to enhance its security and to enable it to serve investors faster and much more efficiently. Additionally, the CSD Investor Portal and the M-Akiba digital application have freed up access to the opportunity to invest and trade in government securities, enabling people of all walks of life to participate in the securities market, thereby facilitating a bottom-up growth of the sector, as has been explained by the many people who I saw in that little presentation state. Thirdly, the use of technology to enhance security, efficiency, transparency, and inclusion is a constant theme in the implementation of our programs, as you may well have seen, from making sure that we digitize all government services, we have had a robust two-way conversation on to just pay the principal. And I expect that the tax-paying public will take advantage, especially those who are trapped in the space I am talking about. This initiative alleviates financial burdens and aligns with our commitment to a fair taxpayers with principal tax debts incurred before 1st January 2023 can therefore take advantage of this opportunity. The amnesty program assists taxpayers facing financial challenges related to unpaid taxes, thus fostering economic growth and inclusivity by all Kenyan citizens. On banking, a myriad of threats, singly or in combination, pose fast mutating dangers and constantly test the integrity and resilience of our financial system. I am delighted that on both scores, the central bank is perfectly up to the task and has been able to ensure the soundness of our financial system and stewarded the emergence of a diverse, sophisticated, and competitive banking and financial service sector. I want to commend the central bank specifically for bringing back the interbank forex market that had become a challenge. The DAO being launched here will carry our aspirations for prosperity and dreams of successful wealth building, just as it once took indomitable traders, explorers, and other adventurers across vast uncharted oceans to explore, discover, and engage with opportunities in shores far away. Vasco da Gama and those other people are a case in point. Arguably, DAOs were the earliest technologies of globalization. It is therefore fit that today, the irrepressible go-getting spirit of the ancient pioneers who set out in DAOs in search of opportunity has been invoked in an era of high-tech automation and digitization, and now finds expression in the form of products that shall radically transform the way investment in treasury bills and government bonds are undertaken and managed. Account opening, bidding, purchase, and sale in the secondary market are now conducted through a digital platform going forward. I applaud the vision that imagined and developed the Central Securities Depository DAO to facilitate secure trading in Kenyan government securities in local, regional, and international financial markets. The electronic system domiciled in the Central Bank of Kenya facilitates centralized custody of these securities and secures updating of the status of transactions relating to them. The transformation lies in fact that the new system delivers convenience, efficiency, and speed without compromising security and has enhanced security and transparency overall. With this new innovation, investors no longer need to physically visit central bank's head or branch offices to undergo the manual process of opening CSD accounts, which previously took 14 days and involved laborious manual transactions. The makers, operators, and users of the DAO from antiquity to our generation are united by one philosophy: the recognition that money is impatient and opportunities in the financial markets wait for no one. By retiring manual processes and providing digital platforms, the DAO allows investors to transact electronically at any time from anywhere in a matter of a few minutes. I think we've been told here how long it takes. The CSD Investors Portal and mobile application have also delivered inclusion by opening up access to the securities market to everyone, regardless of their status, including many of whom the requirement of physical travel and manual transactions presented significant barriers. Just like the Hustler Fund, automation of services through digital platforms is firmly aligned with our commitment to expand opportunities for Kenyans in their millions. The transformation is already underway, and the central bank is now opening, I am told, 250 new CST accounts daily. Before, it used to open 100 accounts monthly. In the first month of its operation, I'm told it is 3 weeks and a bit, 6,366 new accounts have been opened. A strong response from Kenyans has made a robust system, and the stage is set for record-breaking activities. The DAO is therefore a powerful incentive for Kenyans at all stages of our socioeconomic pyramid to enhance their wealth creation capabilities and engagements. The DAO, DCSD DAO for that matter, also strengthened the CBK's capacity to implement its mandate and enhancing its working relationship with banking and financial institutions. Its responsibility to maintain the robustness, integrity, efficiency, and competitiveness of Kenya's financial ecosystem has received a major boost through the refinement, together with the resultant benefits of price stability, a coherent and effective monetary policy implementation framework, and enhanced stability of the financial system. Similarly, these innovative improvements have brought the benefits of transparency accountability to the government by automating the auction of treasury bills and treasury bonds. I think the framers and the leadership of Central Bank have done a commendable job. Tuwapige makofi jameni. I think we saw from the presentation here that this whole ecosystem will now be available on a digital platform, and we can all view it from where we will be, and you can be able to make decisions faster, much more accurately, and in a manner that leverages and gives everybody advantage to make the best decisions, because you will be armed with the most and the best available information for you to make the decisions for investment. To single out what we are launching today has done, in my opinion, 3 very important things. Number 1, we now reduce the opening of accounts, CSD accounts for that matter, from 14 days to a few minutes. I'm told 5 minutes. That is transformative. It has also given us an opportunity to digitize the whole of this space and to have a web-based, app-enabled mechanism of engaging with the whole space of our financial market, especially on the trading of treasury bills and treasury bonds. And it has also introduced a big component of transparency and opening up the space for many people to participate. The benefits of true transformation are numerous and varied and extend far and wide. The beneficiaries of the revolution launched through the CBK's CS DAO are only beginning to be recognized. Like the maps, treasure, and knowledge of opportunities in distant lands that the DAOs returned with those days, the full reach of the vision behind this transformation will be revealed in days to come. And I look forward to it Governor, and your team. Let me also give you some feedback. You know, I have listened to the whole of this transaction. We had a conversation today in the morning, and I have a bit of feedback, which I am sure will enrich your thinking going into the future. I know, for example, that there is a requirement for one to have a bank account in Kenya. And on this, I am speaking to many Kenyans who do not have a bank account. I'm also speaking to many Kenyans in the diaspora, speaking for many Kenyans who are in the diaspora who may not necessarily have a Kenyan bank account. My advice and feedback to the team is that you need to make it possible for Kenyans who do not have a bank account but have an M-Pesa account to also participate in this space. I also want to ask the team to look at the possibility of Kenyans in the diaspora who may not necessarily have a Kenyan bank account to use their Visa or MasterCard or credit card accounts to be able to also participate in the purchase of government securities. This will expand the scope of participants. It will democratize this space even further and make it possible for a bigger majority of Kenyans and investors from both local and in the international space to participate in this endeavor. The concern, of course, is usually KYC. But I think, speaking from where I am and with the experience of the Financial Inclusion Fund, commonly known as the Hustler Fund, I think the KYC provided by telcos is solid enough for it to be relied upon as a mechanism of knowing who these people are. I also believe very strongly that credit card agencies have sufficient KYC information for us to be able to rely on them to facilitate this process. That is my feedback number one. Feedback number two. I know at the moment we are working on bonds and treasury bills, 100,000 and 50,000. I think there is space again to democratize that space better. There is a case that I want to make for the people who do not necessarily want to work on 50,000. And I'm making a case for what we wanted to do with Emakiba before. The Emakiba did not go very far because it had many challenges. I am persuaded that it is possible for us to reduce the denomination. And I want the team to work on what is this denomination that can democratize that space so that the person you told us here, there is a person in Moyale. There was a reference to Moyale by somebody here. I suspect that that person in Moyale may not necessarily have the 50,000, but they could be having 5,000. And because there is no requirement now for them to travel to Nairobi and they can transact on their phone, there is absolutely no reason why we cannot facilitate that person in Moyale or indeed in any part of Kenya to have a transaction of 5,000. So again, We need a bit of democratizing that space and reducing the denomination of the available instruments, not necessarily in the region of 50,000 or 100,000, but I think the team should be able, Governor Thuge, to democratize that space. And I have seen how we lock out many people sometimes by working with big numbers. And let me give you an example. Just in the city of Nairobi, we have 2.1 million people who have borrowed from the Hustler Fund, 2.1 million people. And in Nairobi alone, we have lent something like 5.7 billion to very small people, in Nairobi alone. Nationally, we've lent about 35 billion. In a record 8-9 months, right? So if anybody underestimated the people in the small economy, as you may want to call it, you have to think again. And we have about 7 million people regular borrowing and paying in that space. We need to open up space for those people who are borrowing to also buy government paper. I don't know whether we still call it government paper now, or the paper is out, you know. So to buy government security, right? So and I have one other reason why I am pushing for these people. It is completely undemocratic for us who are in this space that one person has the opportunity to buy and to get 10% as they invest, and then another person can only invest and get 2%, because that's what majority of the people with 5,000, 10,000 get 2-3% from their savings. And yet, in the same space, we have those of us who have a bit more money, and we are getting 10-12% from government security. I think we need to make it possible for even the person who is currently being paid 2-3% to also move their fortunes to the space of 9-10%. I think it's only fair. And it's not too much to ask, is it? I don't think so. So again, that's the reason why I think we need to democratize that space. And finally, one more feedback. And I hope I'm not going to torpedo the whole thing. It's only that I have to speak to the people who cannot make it to this forum. You know, there are so many people who cannot make it here, but they have hired me. So I am here to represent them. You know, many of them cannot come past the watchman at the gate. So we also need to, you need to think about the redemption mechanism. You know, I know we have the journey on how you can redeem your investment in this space. You need to democratize that also so that the smaller investors in that space can have much more flexible terms of redeeming their investment without the challenge that we experienced initially with Emma Kiba, that some of the people who invested in Emma Kiba ended up with, whenever they made certain decisions, they got less money than they had invested. We need to avoid that kind of thing. So we have to think, and I am happy that Luz and team have told us that they are seized of that particular reality, and they are going to make some provisions or some decisions on making sure that that happens, and that we can carry as many people as possible along. It is the journey that we have undertaken that we need to democratize opportunity, whether it is employment, whether it is business, whether it is access to credit, whether it is access to being able to participate in government securities. We must be as inclusive as is practically possible, because that is the only way we can move together, and we can leverage on all our capacities, and we can leverage on every citizen of the Republic of Kenya to participate in baking a bigger cake for us to be able to enjoy together. Finally, let me undertake that we will continue to work with all the agencies in this financial space to make sure that we do not slip into spaces that will not add value to our progress. We will continue to do what we must do to keep inflation in check, to deploy whatever resources we can to make sure that we manage the cost of living, we manage the cost of food, and I am very happy that the interventions we have put in place are actually responding. We had an inflation rate of about 9.3 or thereabout. It's now down to 6.7. It is our intention to continue doing the interventions that will continue to take it down so that it is in line with our commitments, both to our budget and also all the other spaces that are there. And we will continue to make the right decisions, and we are leveraging on technology. Maybe just to give you an idea, is that we leveraged on technology to give us the data on farmers. For the first time, we distributed fertilizer using technology. Every farmer was on a technology platform to be able to access their fertilizer, and it has helped us to make it efficient, to eliminate brokers, to remove crooks, to remove middlemen that were creating unnecessary confusion, and that is why we have been able to manage the cost of fertilizer that is come down significantly from 6,000 plus to now about 2,500. I want to commit that we shall continue in making sure that there are interventions that would help us in that space. Never mind the chronic propagandists and those people who believe in voodoo, because they are telling us that, I don't know, there was some 30,000 tons of, I don't know, fertilizer from where. I want to tell you, we have deployed about 280,000 tons of fertilizer, about 4.5 million bags by now. And prudently, using data, using technology, we have delivered fertilizer efficiently. And we have used science. We did a survey of all our soils, and we have distributed fertilizer that is scientifically tailored for all the soils in the various regions and for the different groups in the different regions using science, not voodoo. So those who are telling us that we have sold, I don't know, sand, or is it soils? I don't know, they have sold what? It's because they believe in voodoo, we believe in science. There are two different areas. And we will continue to make sure that we use data, we use technology, we use science to continue to deal with the challenges of making sure that we manage inflation. I am very proud that we are moving in this direction, and Governor, I encourage you and your team. You have our support. And the feedback I have given you, I will come back in a month. I have an undertaking from Luther. Where is he? I thought I saw him here. I have an undertaking from that man there that you will incorporate the feedback I have given you from the hustlers so that they too can participate in this very important exercise, and they can make their contribution and enjoy the benefits that come from trading and doing business with the government of Kenya, especially in this securities space. I want to also encourage the CMA. I see the CMA people here. And the NSC, I saw them speak around this issue. There is a lot that can be done in that space. And I am not seeing movement in that space, especially on the issues that we discussed when I came to Nairobi Securities Exchange. I know I have a part to keep, and that is to deliver some government companies for sale. I am working on it. But there is some homework also you need to work on. If you need feedback from me, I will write them down and send it to you, so that you can work on it, because building Kenya is a collective effort, and everybody must pull their weight so that we can take this forward. Thank you very much, good people. I now declare the DAO CSD officially launched. Congratulations.
Another round of applause for His Excellency the President. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. And if you are paying keen attention, you'll notice that he gave 3 points of feedback. Na Kenya mambo ni mangapi? I say no more. Your Excellency, we are done with the first part. Na since mambo ni matatu, tumebakisha mawili. Ya pili ni, there is a check presentation. So at this point, I'll invite the Governor Central Bank to come and present a check. And for the photo op, we'll have the check be brought here, please. Then we'll have His Excellency to receive it. We also have the CS Treasury to also join in on the stage. Kindly, if we may just come on stage. So the CS will present the CBK Governor will present the check to His Excellency. And we may join there. Thank you. So the dividend check is a GOK, is a shareholder of CBK. So the check is symbolic of dividends for the 2022-2023 financial year. Namely, and this money has already been deposited. So we can give a hand clap for that. So His Excellency will then hand the check to the CS Treasury for safekeeping. Wonderful. And Your Excellency, I also noticed on this particular check, it is now signed. We've had checks that have not been signed, but this one is signed. So thank you very much for that. Thank you. Thank you. We also do have a gift that would like to be presented to His Excellency the President, and we'll have the Governor CBK to do this as well. And Your Excellency, CBK was established by an Act of Parliament on March 24th, 1966. The doors were opened to the public on September 14th, 1966. This week, CBK launches a new product, the DAO CSD, which also celebrates 57th birthday since it began offering services to the public. Your Excellency, we are also cognizant that you were born in the same year. So what CBK technically is saying is that you're age mates with CBK. A clap for that, please, for His Excellency. And by presenting this memorabilia to Your Excellency, we hope that it shall serve as a reminder that you have a strong partner and ally in CBK to help you in executing your national mandate. Thank you very much. So with that, we shall now close this particular chapter, and we'll finish with the national anthem before we proceed for a photo session that's going to take place outside. So we'll finish with the national anthem. Then from there, we shall guide on the photos. But for now, the national anthem.